It's Monday night. It's a slightly past 8 o'clock because technical difficulties. It's 8 o'clock. You know what time it is. It's time for Nerd Initiative TV Talk. Somebody play the intro.
I heard you on the wireless back in 52. Lying awake, intent and tuning in on you. If I was young, it didn't stop you coming through. They took the credit for your second symphony, rewritten by machine and new technology. And now I understand the problems you can see. I met your children. What did you tell them? Radio killed the radio star. Oh, radio killed the radio star. Oh, pictures came and broke your heart.
And what is going on, ladies and gentlemen, out there in Cyberland? Thank you so much for coming back. It is Monday. I know we are off a whole week, but we were experiencing some really, really crappy weather up here, up in upstate New York where I live, and it was better safe than sorry that we take a minute, take a beat, and let's say, hey, let's take a skip instead of having more technical difficulties to do this. So again, I apologize for last week, and we welcome you back. Congratulations to everybody who did do our Nerd Initiative contest. Our contest is over on Instagram. We will be announcing tomorrow our winners on our brand new special edition of the San Diego Comic-Con preview show on Turn a Page. So hopefully you'll tune in tomorrow for that. Now we're talking about The Bear Season 3, episodes 5 and 6. Now, what's really cool about what's going on over here is that one, I'm having more technical difficulties. Yes, I love the internet. This is wonderful. Yeah. There we go. So we're talking more about, the show, everything that's going on there. So we're talking about the two episodes right smack dab in the middle of the series right now. We're talking about children and we're talking napkins. Now, generally anybody who's worked in restaurants, the two things go together one hand in hand. I know I'm not wearing any chef whites tonight. It's because I'm supporting some Comic Cons coming up this particular year. So that is why, with the San Diego Comic Con episode tomorrow, we're making sure that you got all your heads up for what is going on in Comic Con Dumb. All right, so let's talk some episodes. So we talk about children. Children, it's a very, very interesting idea about this. So 4 episodes in, and we see that the whole idea of the business plan is not viable right now. Carmine is really, really stressing over the idea of that he needs to be new and innovated every single day. He needs to make sure that he is pushing and pushing and pushing and to strive for something new and better as if this is his idea of this is his brainchild as it was. In the meantime, we have his sister Sugar who's dealing with the fact that she's going to be a first time mom. Everything's going on with that and worried about, all the drama that comes with her family and how that's going to affect her child. How much is she going to get passed down to her? Because we already know her mom, who's played by Jamie Lee Curtis, is just friggin' nutcase. It's the nicest way I can put it. Very relatable. And just the very dysfunctional family vibe that they got going on. Again, speaking of children, Marcus is finally dealing with the whole idea that his mom is dead. And, he's looking for help in as far as selling the house and getting rid of his mother's things. And it's very hard. I had to do that myself 20 some odd years ago. So everything that they're doing right now this season with the bear is extremely more relatable than it is as far as making a show about being a restaurant. I don't know where I'm at about that. I currently go back and forth quite a bit with the realism of the show versus what I would like out of the show. So that takes a little bit for me to have to readjust every time I watch an episode. Again, just for me. At the same time, while the episode's going on, uh, we find out that the restaurant that Chef Terry, who Richie and obviously Carmi have both worked at, um, is closing up. You know, and that again makes Carmine realize: is the restaurant sustainable? Is it going to be able to go in the long run? Because fancy nouvelle cuisine, and even nouvelle is even a harsh word nowadays. Is it still viable in the long run? What's going to happen to fine dining? Their uncle who's helped finance the restaurant finally brings in his accountant, his guy, the computer, to check costs and go over things. And they get in an argument over a freaking plate called Charger. Now, here's the deal. I was in the restaurant and hospitality industry for 20 something years. I still don't know what the frick a Charger is. All right. All I see is it, and I have to agree with them, is just an extra plate that dishwashers have to wash and get. Why aren't we serving food on a plate? I will absolutely agree with that. Trying to use the actual farmers market every day is completely unsustainable because things don't grow every single day. You might not get a great harvest. You might get an abundant harvest one day, and then the next nothing. Or again, it's just not sustainable. So getting food from a surveyor, a purveyor, might be better off. It does show, as much as it's trying to focus on the realness of being human beings, it does show the little tiny things, minutia, that people don't realize about the restaurant industry. Now, they knew that a reporter was going to be showing up to from the Tribune because they've already had their reviewer there. So while they're trying to deal with the computer doing all of his magic math in his head, figuring out, oh, well, we can do this, we can't do that, so on and so forth. Why isn't this running? Why isn't my little slideshow running? What's going on here? There we go. Weird. So while that's running, they're trying to figure out, Mark or Cousins up front there. Richie's up front talking about pictures and everything. That was pretty freaking fantastic. Well, that's actually technically the next episode. Um, but going on, the computer talks about getting rid of Marcus, their pastry chef. And Sugar, God love her, she comes right up to his aid and says, I'll kill you. I've known you for 30 years. You've coached my little league team. I will kill you. And we won't talk about it again. And like, we've all had that problem, some employee, in whatever company you've been with. And they might be the best at what they do. And you cannot get somebody else there for it. And sometimes it's when you take those issues as far as the, what is this person worth having? Marcus absolutely is worth having, especially when you get a pastry chef who is up and coming and you've put so much money into. I mean, you sent him off to go and train over in Europe and then to have him come back. He's totally worth it. What's not worth it is all the money they're dumping in menu development, all the money they're dumping in having to get new produce, new meats, new everything every single day, changing the menu. It is ridiculous as far as money is concerned. And what really comes to light, and we'll find this out, later, is that, well, you can't recreate the dish that's going to be for the review. The other big thing is the fact that they can't get the restaurant cleaned and beautiful and pretty and buffed in time. So the facts decide to call up their brother to come in and help. And this is where we get, I say, the greatest cameo of the whole season. But the general public and everybody says, "Oh no, no, no! John Cena showing up is completely unnecessary." I'm like, Who cares? It's John Cena, number one. He's got some comedy chops like nobody's business and perfectly fits in and is, that he comes from the same family as much as the other two are complete and total dipshits. I can't say that this is, it's literally gives you those twins vibe. You got the really good health and, fantastic aesthetic of a man versus the shit left over. That's exactly what the Fax family is. They're having this whole back and forth about an SD card, and I don't even want to know what's on those SD cards. But as the photographer starts taking pictures, with Richie standing right overhead, he says, "Okay, cool," and the dish. They go back, and then they start going, "What did we make? Some duck dish." And this is where exactly it hits that they cannot keep up with this particular menu design, and it's just not working for them. What's really great is that while all this is going on, Carmi is just trying to deal with the idea of what can I do to make myself stand out on top of, hey, Ever is finally closing. What can I do to make myself the next Ever? So where does the whole idea of the show, of this particular episode, Children, really come from? And I've obviously had time to think about it because we skipped last week. So I think the idea of the episode Children isn't just the actual biological aspect of it. It comes down to the idea of that what we put out into the world, it can be considered our children as well. Again, not just blood, but Carmine is considering this restaurant as child. Sugar obviously is dealing with the whole idea of what is going on with her becoming a mom soon. That's a lot to take in, and especially the whole idea of the family aspect that's behind her. She's avoiding her mom like nobody's business, which I think is great because the idea that their Uncle Cicero, that this also is his brainchild itself. He has no say in it, but he's invested his money and finances into this complete restaurant, and that's a lot too to put to take in. Again, going back to the idea of children, it's something crazy. Why is this not working? What is going on here? Hello, computer. There we go. It's doing the thing. All right. So again, computer just keeps saying we're gonna cut this, we're gonna do that. The other idea of children is the whole brotherly love that you have between the facts, between Sammy and Theodore, and I think it was great. A lot of folks are out there saying John Cena wasn't needed. No, John Cena was needed. I think it was a great little, hey, here's something, here's a great idea, and it just brought a whole sense of, it broke up the heaviness that was going on in the season. Now, after that, we've gone on to the next episode. The next episode is called Napkins. And I could not figure out the life of me why it was called Napkins till way at the end, because that's when we finally got a resolution for it. So I can't complain here. So Napkins is interesting. It's right in the middle of the season. It's episode 6. And hopefully this is where everything, we finally start get this is where the whole idea of the roller coaster goes here. Episode starts out with Tina. This is an episode completely based around Tina, which is great because she's been having some yips on the line recently. And I get it. This episode really shows you why she has the yips. So this is a flashback episode back in around 2018. Tina and her husband and son, are all living, this is right before a bunch of layoffs, obviously in a pre-COVID world. And her husband's supposed to be getting a raise. Hopefully, he's been waiting for. Their rent has gone up. Tina's been working at a same job for the past 15 years, doing money and finances for a local candy company, which I think is cool. I can't gotta open this window. It is warm as hell in here. Um, and she gets fired. She just gets laid off. No big reason. Oh, we're just doing cutbacks. We're doing this and that. And that's harsh. Like, this is the realest episode I've probably seen out of all of The Bear. Tina needs to find a job. She needs to have the self worth of you are what you do. And if you provide for your family, you're doing well. And I get that. I very much am that type of person. You are what you do. And you take pride in that. You can't sit around. So she goes out and, being of another generation, she starts, she does a handwritten resume and she decides to, just start dropping it off in places. And she sees that the job market has completely changed to the fact that, younger folks are on their phones. People, we rather you uh, apply on Indeed or, use the internet, use everything your capabilities. She goes even to apply to a particular job that she is completely qualified for, with the exception that she doesn't have her BA. She doesn't have her bachelor's, so she can't do the job, which is completely bull. She is more than qualified to do this job. And she has to go home, rejected again. And you feel for her because we've all been in that situation at some point. After that, she decides to, she's on her way home. She missed her bus. So she takes another long roundabout way and she gets off. She's waiting for her next bus. It's running 35 minutes behind. So she decides to walk into this hole in the wall restaurant that happens to be the Bear Chicago Beef. What really bugs me is that how the heck have you lived in Chicagoland and not know what an Italian beef sandwich is? Just going to say that. She goes in. The place is just a madhouse as it is. Richie's, barking orders. It's the controlled chaos, more chaos than control than anything. And she just asks for a cup of coffee so she can wait because it's freezing outside and, go wait for a coffee. Well, it just so happens that there was a screw up. There's an extra sandwich and Richie bestows upon her a sandwich. And she decides to go sit down over in the next room. If you remember, it had all those great arcade machines and that very special arcade machine that they ran the competition with in the first season because it was illegal or they thought all the systems were gone. Anyway, she goes to sit down, and because it's 2018, Mikey, Carmine's older brother, is still alive at that point. So everything going on, they start blaming, fact that, look, you made the lady cry. And all they're trying to do is figure out, did we buy the right napkins to go in the napkin dispensers for the sandwiches? And she just starts crying because she had just left an opportunity for a job she could absolutely do and could not get over a little piece of paper. Again, entirely relatable, especially those of us of like my generation. We went to school, we spent money, hundreds of thousands of dollars on college, and then you can't get a plain old daytime job, the job in your field. Tina is a creature of habit. She gets up every single day. She wakes up. She throws something in the crock pot for breakfast. She gets her husband's lunch ready. She gets her son's lunch ready. She is the ultimate creature of habit. As the episode goes on, you see the clock starts at 5, and then the clock turns to 6, and the clock turns to 7. And they've used clocks really, really well this whole season, if you haven't noticed. There is a clock in the kitchen. There has been the clock that both Carmine and Sugar have looked at. They're very digital clocks. The episode was so smart, and they gave Tina a very old school analog flip clock like you would have from the late 70s, early 80s. So again, that shows Tina's age, and it sets that line of where she's coming from, of her particular mindset, which cheers to the director. And by the way, there's a big, huge nod to the director on this one. But let's go back to talking in the restaurant. So she starts crying in her coffee and about to try and eat her sandwich. And so Mikey, excuse me, comes over with some napkins and shoes off Richie, in fact. Um, and they just start talking. And it's funny. She's talking about how the difficulties of, I don't understand how to work anymore. I don't understand what the job market is or the job culture is. Mike even explains that as much as he didn't want the job and he didn't want the restaurant, how much he loves it at the same time. All Tina says is all she wants. She just wants to know that she has stability. That every day, 9 to 5, this is what I'm doing. This is my job. This is what I'm going to be here for. Clock in, clock out, go home, wash, rinse, repeat. Everybody in the world wants that. Everybody can relate to that story. And Mikey says, I could probably use somebody, and decides to give her to give her, one, still a free sandwich, and two, a shirt, and tell her when she starts. You don't get people that have businesses like that anymore, at least in my circles. To be able to just put your faith out there in someone like that is a lot. And the fact of hiring someone who is definitely, of a particular older generation is fantastic, because you get an employee that knows what work ethic is. I'm not saying that a lot of other people don't have it. I'm just saying that I've noticed that there is definitely a difference in generational work habit and ethic, and that's all I'm going to say about it. For Tina, ever since she started at the beef to where she is now, it was always consistent and concise, and she knew what to do. She comes in, she does the job, she goes home. She comes in, she knows how to make the sandwiches, she goes home. She comes in, she makes the soup, she makes the spaghetti, she makes the what, she goes home. Carmi comes in, completely puts everything on its ear. That's where she starts, having the problems in the kitchen, and then they decide to send her to cooking school. And that's fantastic. Then she starts being a line whiz. And then, oh, wait a minute, we're going to redo the restaurant, and we're going to, not only that, make a new menu every single day and completely throw off the whole wash, rinse, repeat. You have taken somebody who knows how to work in boxes and work in a particular style of, this is what I'm doing, this is my job, and go. And you literally throw it out the window every single day, over and over and over. That's why you can watch her in season 3 where she's having problems doing the pan or plating, or she's all in a fog. And it's so damn relatable. I can see why this episode has been considered probably the best one of the whole season. Um, the other reason that this episode is so important is that this is also Io's uh, first directorial debut. Io is also plays Sydney, the sous chef slash partner here on The Bear. And for someone so young to understand the struggles of someone much older and how to portray that on screen shows a lot to her acting ability, and also the idea of how she perceives acting. Some of the best directors have been actors because they know how to see the screen and see what they want to see and how to portray it. Io has done an amazing job on this particular episode. I don't think there's anything necessarily, there's nothing you can really knock about this episode. Um, it has really changed your idea of how real the Bear wants to be this season. And this is where I hope that now that we have done 6 freaking episodes of realness, we get to cooking. All right. I got enthralled in this series simply for the whole idea of the cooking in the kitchen and the dynamic in the kitchen. And I want to see more of that. Unfortunately, I don't think we're really going to see it between all the familial stuff that's going on with Carmine going crazy in his head and the whole things weighing down on him right now with the whole funeral dinner that's coming within a week or two over at Ever, his last restaurant. I think that right now what they're going to do is really push on the human and emotional side. And as much as people will rave about it, and I know that the episodes are all out, and I still haven't watched them, and I do that on purpose. I need them to figure out, are they going to be a show about people, or are they going to be a show about a restaurant? And I think that that's 2 completely different shows that we're getting out of this. We had it in season 1 and 2, and I think we've got a new show in season 3. If hopefully this comes back around for season 4, we get a better idea and understanding of where everybody is at and how the restaurant itself is going. That's what I really want to see out of it. Yeah. So how about you out there in Cyberland? What have you been thinking about the bear? How have you been perceiving everything that's been going on right now? Has it been a big game changer for you? Has it been that particular type of show that keeps you drawn in? Don't get me wrong. The characters and the stories and the writing and the filming, it's all great. I still want more cooking. Just me. I want it hot. We've only got 4 more episodes to go left and review on here. And I think we've already figured out what we're going to be doing next here on TV Talk. Maybe get away from the avant-garde TV and talk something a little bit more Netflixy. So hopefully, ODP Ken says that it has been a solid show. And of course, our Generalissimo says so. So that's all we need to say about that. Like I said, Ken, I think that the show needs to figure out where it needs to be. Is it a cooking show, a show about cooks? Is it a show about the cooks and their lives? They need to find that middle ground. And it'll balance out at some point. Hopefully in season 4. Again, I still got 4 more episodes to watch before we switch over to Umbrella Academy. But having that said, I want to hear from you guys. I want everybody to jump in here in the comments, talk about the bear. Let us know. Give us your theories. You've probably already seen the whole series, season 3. So I want to know what your theories are for season 4. But in the meantime, we've got the homework right there. Make sure you subscribe. Click the bell for notifications. Give them the thumbs up so we can let Michael know that I'm still doing a good job over here, even though I skipped a week, but I still love you. But more importantly, just a reminder again, 8 o'clock, our contest is over, our Instagram contest. So we're going to be announcing all of our winners tomorrow on Turn a Page during our extended special edition for San Diego Comic-Con. And we want to see you there. We're going to be having all kinds of guests on, some people you haven't seen on here on Nerd Initiative just yet, or some you have seen. So what are you going to be doing tomorrow night? Tomorrow night, you're going to be tuning back in right here on Nerd Initiative. You're going to watch our Turn a Page San Diego Comic-Con special edition episode. And then when you're done with that, you're going to make sure you're subscribed to everything else. Why? Because we have content coming out every single day. We play for keeps. We've got fandoms. We got all kinds of stuff coming out here for you. So what are you doing? Do the homework. Do the thing. Because that's what we want to do. Again, I'm just going to make it real big just to show you. Look at all that. Make sure you're subscribed. Ring the bell for notifications. And then hit that thumbs up. Because here at Nerd Initiative, we love our QR codes. So we're going to remind you, we've got the merch that's coming out right there. You hit the merch, get the merch. We love the merch. Love the merch. Wear your nerd pride on your sleeve because it's Comic-Con season. We're going to see it all the different cons coming up. We'll be at San Diego. We'll be at Galaxy. We're going to be at New York. I know that. I'm going to be at Power Morphicon, Ranger Station. We're all over the nation bringing you the nerd news that you need to know. Oh, yeah. Mickey likes the fact that, that we play for keeps. What can I say? Some great new reviews also are coming out from Mickey here too, talking about all of our fantastic toys. We're the friends over from Big Bad Toy Store. Speaking of all the other reviews, Wednesday we've got our fantastic comic book lineup coming out. I know yours truly is doing 2 1/3 comic book reviews. I'm not even going to mention how many our Generalissimo Ken is doing, because that is why he is the editor in chief. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, it is always a pleasure being here with you. I will see you back here next Monday. We're going to talk about the bear. We might even just triple it, just do the whole rest of it. I don't know. We're going to figure it out. But more importantly, come back tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, right here, San Diego Comic Con. Big preview show. Trust me, we've got a lot of stuff coming for you. As I used to say back when I was trying to be a streamer, be excellent to each other. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. Mickey has a great new interview up right now. You look here on the YouTube channel because Ken said so. Because Generalissimo. Now, as I was saying, as always, as I used to say back when I was a YouTuber, be excellent to each other. I'll talk to you later. I'm out.